Their works are a reminder that soil is a finite and precious bridge between animate and inanimate worlds, the foundry of life. They resist the idea of a dead earth as resource, choosing instead to reanimate the soil with past histories and future imaginaries. So I want to use this as a jumping off point for an exhibit that I saw recently at CARA, which is the New York Center for Arts, Research, and Alliances. This was my first time going to CARA, and it's really cool. Like, the setup of the exhibition was awesome. The space is really cool, and admission is free. So the exhibition was called And We Learned to Keep the Soil Wet. It was a group show, but I'm going to focus on one work, Ane Graff's The Loss of Memory with Other Losses. It's a very fitting piece given the show's name, as most of it is a pile of dirt with various wine glasses poking out of it. So the glasses themselves that we see in this pile of dirt are filled with various colored liquids that have like crystallized, almost like coral-looking forms, and sometimes like filiform things going on. It's really cool. I don't think there's any close-ups on the website that I could find, but some of the artist's earlier work is really reminiscent of that. And they sort of notion towards like tropical plants bearing maybe poisonous fruits. And reading the exhibition label, one finds that that's not quite far off because they are filled with common pollutants found in soil. And so knowing that it's poison and toxins and pollutants in the glasses adds tension to the work, because we know the soil as kind of a pure, maybe background for life itself. And we also know that if even a little bit of these toxic chemicals got in the soil, it would be unusable maybe forever. Also, this tension goes back to the stated purpose of the exhibition. On the CARA website, they write, "Through an insistence on porosity, these works embody interconnection outside structures of oppression, where the earth and gut are mutually dependent on the natural world, and where reciprocity mobilizes solidarity." And so what better way to highlight the porosity of soil and the interconnectedness of the earth and humans to suspend this toxic waste above the soil. It transforms the act of using pollutants to a kind of arbitrary thing of like, well, I guess it goes somewhere, but it's not my problem, to a very concrete thing and maybe a microcosm of our societal use of these chemicals. By pausing right before the moment of pollution, the work really insists on an ecological urgency. It's very concrete. We know the problem. How are we going to solve it? And further, we know things are interconnected and things are porous and will affect us eventually. The individual contents of these glasses are really interesting. The wall label lists out ingredients and where they might be found and how they might affect the soil, which is a really interesting kind of project. And the beautification of these kind of toxic chemicals could read as a societal obsession with chemical materials, much in the same way that pop art really like fetishized plastics and epoxies and things, making the things that we know are harmful into things of beauty really encapsulates the societal allure of them. The glasses also just like rock as objects. Like, they're so cool. There's something particular about knowing that there's something that can really harm you, but is contained in some way for you to look at. And even beyond like symbolic meanings, the objects are just like really good to look at. Like, I love this. The way that the crystalline shapes in the goblets are kind of like organic reminds us of like a toxic microbiome living in there. And this stands in contrast to the microbiome that we know soil supports and is important for plants and life in general. It's a really cool work. The exhibit is also like very cool. It encapsulates a lot of ecologies between humans and non-humans, and just a whole lot of ranges of mediums and types of representation. So very strongly recommend you check it out. Yeah, really like this work.